Blueberries are a must-have in every garden. They don't take up a lot of space, can be grown in a container. They're very nutritious, they are tasty, they have got beautiful flowers, beautiful foliage, and simply stunning colors in autumn. In this video, I'm going to be documenting how to successfully repot blueberries in one's garden. Changing the container is recommended for blueberries every 2 to 3 years. It's recommended because it gives an opportunity for the plant to be placed in a larger container, which will give more room for its roots. Additionally, it's a good opportunity to change the soil. Blueberries in particular, they need ericaceous soil because they need the soil to be acidic. So changing the container gives an opportunity to put fresh compost in, which will then provide more nutrition to the plant, making it a healthier plant. There are several varieties of blueberries. In my case, I had the Blue Crop and the Toro, both of which I got at the beginning of 2023, and it made it just about right to change the containers as it was coming on to the third into the fourth year. So this blueberry was the Toro, which was the smaller of the two. I had suspected that something was up with its roots even before I took it out of the container, because when I was moving it so that I could work somewhere with plenty of room, it had practically come out of the container. This raises another great point when it comes to blueberries. They do need to have drainage in their soil so that the roots do not rot. I suspect that's what happened with this particular blueberry, that the roots really rotted. So drainage, absolutely key, and you can see it here in the bucket. I had some ericaceous compost as well as some drainage, and that's the mixture I used for repotting. Retrospectively, I should have probably put it in an even smaller container, bearing in mind that it was now a much smaller root ball, but I did not. I just decided to put it back into its container rather than getting a bigger size container. So this was just me watering it now, and I decided to use some rainwater. Rainwater is usually recommended for, well, for most plants, if not all plants really, but mostly for plants that like ericaceous soil, because apparently using tap water can affect the acidity of the soil, but if you add rainwater it should work well. So this is me just topping up the compost, and you'll see a few more clips of me watering. There's something satisfying about watering a plant. Mulching retains the moisture in the soil, which is always recommended, especially if you've got plants in containers, not just blueberries. Because with containers, that's one of the biggest, or I don't know whether it's a disadvantage, but it can be a disadvantage because you really need to keep on top of watering. It's not like plants in the ground which can draw their water from the ground. With containers, you really do need to water them. So having mulch not only looks pretty, but it also helps to retain that moisture within the container. I used pine mulch, which is recommended for acid loving plants. The blue crop was very different. It was quite root bound. I knew that of the two, it was the healthier one just based on the stems. It was a totally different challenge in that I could hardly get it out. And when I did get it out in the end, after a lot of effort, I could see that it was quite root bound. So with this one, I did things slightly different when I was repotting it. The first thing I did was I had to rinse out the container I was going to place it in. This is because I was using a container which had a hydrangea previously. So I didn't want to transfer anything that might be in the soil. So I did give it a proper rinse just to make sure that everything was nice and clean. And you can see it now. It was going to go into a much bigger container. And yes, I think it was a good size container for it. In terms of the mixture, as you can see in that bucket, same mixture, lots of drainage. Because it was a bigger container, I moved it to its final location so that I didn't have to deal with trying to move it when it was full of sand. Because it had been so root bound, I also cut the bottom layer of the blueberry. I was very anxious doing this. I wasn't sure whether it would survive or not, but I cut it before putting it back into the container. The rest of the process was the same. I made sure that I packed in the compost tightly, then I watered before adding the top dress, the mulch. After this, it was only a matter of just paying attention to see how the plant was growing. One thing I didn't mention is that I had also removed that dead stem or dead stems. There were a couple of them. So I'd removed those. And as you can see, in March, the blue crop was looking really well. There you go. That's March as well. It was looking very healthy. And I know I didn't focus a lot on the toro, but if you look closely, you'll see that it was actually coming along nicely as well. So there you go. Everything is looking very healthy. I took this video on the 2nd of this month, 2nd of April, and you can see it's doing very well. So I'm really happy I did it. I think it's a very straightforward process when you think about it. As mentioned, just remember that it requires ericaceous soil. Improve the drainage as much as you can. If you can, add some mulch on top just to preserve the moisture within the soil because blueberries do like a moist soil. They also need to be in a full sun location, so that's why they're in that top corner of my garden. So yes, definitely recommend repotting the blueberries. I was about to call them dahlias. Then you can tell it's getting late. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.